you look at her and she looks like a typical little blonde cheerleader. Mm-hmm. You get her in a race car, she's a monster. I mean, she will muscle that race car around her, and she drives it. I mean, she truly gets everything out of that car, and she's got to be happy with what she did this weekend, because not only did she win the B main, she transferred up to the A on night 1. She did fairly well. Night number 2, she races her way into the Iron Giant and finished very well, and we'll talk about that when the time comes. But night number 1, street stocks. Let's go through the finishing order, Joel, in the B main.
We'll start the bottom and work our way up. 17th place went to the 398 machine of Joshua Scheller. Scheller. Yeah. Man, I cannot read tonight. I got eye problems like Warren. 16th went to the 19W Skylar Weinbarger.
Well, that was actually night 1 was Skylar.
Skylar ran that night.
Yep.
15th, the 12 of Andy Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
14th, the R31 of Michael Hollingsworth.
Okay, part of the Hilltop Racing Gang.
13th went to the 5.0 machine. The sheriff was in town, Mr. Jordan McDonald.
The old Crown Vic.
Dude, that car.
You know what? I want to take a minute to talk about it. It is so funny. I'm not saying funny in a bad way. It is so funny to see a Crown Vic out there running against Camaros and Monte Carlos and, the Mercury Cougar of Justin and, these cars that you typically see as street stocks at dirt tracks across America. There's an old cop car, Crown Vic. I mean, it's like, what is that car doing on the track? You expect it to be a pace car until it gets on the throttle.
Yeah, complete with the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that car, I'll tell you, that's the first time I've got to see it run this year. It surprised me. It surprised me.
Lifts and turns just like a Monty.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, his luck sucked on night number 1.
Yeah.
But that car got some attention.
Yes,
People know what that car can do now they've seen it run at Willamette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 12th place went to the F14, the Jefferson Auto Club gang. 11th, the 81 machine of Brandon Grady. The K2 of Kendall Irvine. X1 of Seth Kulf. The 98 Saturday night was not piloted by Sean French.
No, it was not.
It was Phil.
Phil Lavorne out of the Amco stables.
And that surprised me. I know Phil's a driver, but seeing him out there wrestling that Camaro, I was like, whoa.
He is, I think that's the first time he's piloted that car.
That particular one, yeah.
Right, and he got in like it was his own. There wasn't out there just to score points. He was out there to race.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he drove that car like he owned it, and
yeah, he used to race asphalt with his Camaro.
Yeah.
He knew what was going on.
Well, he was working the wheel, I'll tell you that. He was definitely hammered down.
The 7th position was the number 4 machine.
The number 4? That's Pavel Shanka.
Yep.
Probably his best run of the year so far.
6th place, the 25C of Brandon Crawford.
Yep.
Freya Swear in 5th. The Bloom gang held down the 3rd and 4th spots.
Hold on 1 second. Let's go back and touch on Freya. Let's talk about what she did, because she had a deal where she went to the back of the pack. There was a caution she was caught up in and had to go to the back of the pack.
During the B.
Night 1.
So I didn't watch much of the racing. I was too busy doing other things.
On night 1, was that in the feater, Dom? Help me out.
I wasn't there the first night.
I don't remember.
You weren't there. See how much I know.
Hang on.
Anyway, what she did on you talk about these women that can drive race cars. She's good. She's good because you want to talk about someone that is a master on restarts. Pay attention to that 37 they call the green machine. She was sitting way at the, and it might have been in the A main. She was sitting way in the back, and I mean way in the back. She's looking down. She's watching the leader. She's watching the flagman. Flagman drops the green, and she caught half that field sleeping. And she went from, I want to say it was like 12th to like 6th before they got to turn 1.
Wow.
I mean, she just put the hammer down and went to the high side and drove around these guys that just weren't paying, I don't know if they weren't paying attention. They're waiting for the leader or the car to head them to go. Not Freya Swear. No, she was.
I remember that
restart.
That's
you know what I'm
one
talking
of
about.
the few restarts I watched.
She down in turn 3. She saw the green come out. She jumped on the hammer, and she drove past half the field by the time we got to turn 1, and she missed the transfer by 1 car.
I know.
And she was ready. You give her 2 more laps, she would have raced her way into that thing. She was coming. I mean, it was impressive to watch what she did on that restart. One of the highlights of the night, actually, because I actually come out of my seat watching her. I was like, whoa, look at the 37. I mean, she just jumped up and took off.
And normally when you're saying the 37 machine, you're talking about Rob Maya.
Right, right.
Yeah.
She pulled a Maya there, kicked it up to the high side,
and just
put the hammer to the floor.
It was a textbook restart. Perfect restart.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Third and fourth, held down by the Bloom gang. Hunter in third in the 33E. And then Ray Bloom in the 33E3.
33E3 and 33E.
Held down the fourth spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a hard one to call, and they're painted exactly identical.
Yeah.
And the E and the 3 are just like, they're tiny, so I just say Bloom.
Bloom, Bloom, Bloom.
And what do you do?
I feel bad. I mean,
it's hard.
And then Hunter also set the fast time in that fast lap in that race, 19.174.
Okay.
Brent Morris held down the second position to Kenzie Lockhart.
Driving a car he borrowed from his wife.
Yeah.
That white and pink number 7. Good looking ride.
That really is.
Good looking ride. Now, it's the first time I've seen him at Willamette. I mean, all in all, not a bad showing for him over the weekend.
Not at all. But the big show that night for the street stocks on Saturday.
How many did we start? 18?
We started 19. We had one that did not start.
Right, okay.
The 29 of David Kronk did not start for whatever reason. I'm not sure what happened there.
I don't know. I never did hear.
You know, that Kronk gang's pretty tight-lipped about certain things.
You don't get any info out of those stables. I don't even try anymore. And we'll talk down in the pit area, when they're unloading, but as far as anything else,
nope.
They're not giving away anything.
And you'll literally come here in about 3 weeks when the last checkers fall in the season. You won't hear anything out of them until they show up.
It's true.
Wow.
They're very quiet.
They're very quiet about a lot of things.
They are.
19th position went to Dakota Goddard in the 89. 14 J of Steve Jorgensen. The 33 E of Hunter Bloom, a transfer from the B.
See, but look at this. Look at the 3 names you've already said. These are usually cars you see in the top 7, 8 of the A main.
Well, just wait until we go a little bit farther up.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. The competition for the street stocks this last.
And this is Saturday, not the not the Iron Giant.
Yeah,
right.
This was intense.
Yeah.
16th place. There's another name you're going to see up front normally a lot of time. Ron Brewster.
Brewster in the 31.
Had a little bit of a motor problem.
Blew an engine. More than a little bit.
A window bit.
Yeah.
The 11 of Joey Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Tardio. Ray Bloom. Chris Sine. Jeff Daniels. Evan Britton out of Cottage Grove came up for the whole weekend. Wes Sayer drove Kevin Roberts' number 88 Big Sky Landscaping Camaro.
Now, is that the start of the top 10?
Wes is the 9th position.
9th, okay.
Another transfer out of the B main made it all the way up to 8th position. Brent Morris.
Yeah, that 7 car, I told you, he was looking pretty good on night 1.
And he followed the 22 machine, the winner of the B main, Mackenzie Lockhart, to her 7th place finish.
Mm-hmm.
Jody Tanner drove his car on Saturday night, finished in 6th. Jack Parshall, I know I'm screwing that up.
Nope, that's it. Jack Parshall came down from Elma, had that number 9 Budweiser Camaro.
That's right.
That car that's a fast car.
It
really is.
Sean Kronk in 4th.
Good run for Sean. The S29 was looking good there in the feature.
The 3rd position went to Andrew Langen in the 74 machine. 2nd is the 129 of Brian Kronk, who actually set your fast lap that night in the street stock main. 18.763.
Now, had there not been a late caution, I think that car would have been the winner. He had a big lead. He had a pretty sizable lead over the eventual winner, but that late caution did not help the 129.
The 129 and your winner were the only 2 cars in the 18-second bracket.
They were flying. Your
next closest car for a fast lap time was Ron Brewster with a 19 flat.
Yeah.
Versus an 18.7.
3/10. It's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, that can make or break you.
Night 1 winner was the 47 of Kyle Yak, and that car is so fast. So was that 129. It was a great race. I mean, you get 2 quality drivers up there doing what they do, putting on a show. The fans absolutely loved it. It was a great show. from a fan's perspective, from an announcer's perspective, looking down on that race, that was one of the races of the night, of the weekend, that had people up on their feet watching it. I mean, it was a good, great race.
Look at the margin of victory, Corey. 1.420 seconds between the top two.
That's what I'm saying, that late caution, and it was kind of almost the other way around before the caution.
And then you look at where Langen sat behind Kronk. He was only almost just barely 0.4 back from Kronk. There's some good racing right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was night one that was a good win for the 47 car, because the 129 was, I think at one point had that field covered.
And that 129, if you watch how that 129 works,
it's almost like watching a 4-bar late model. That car goes in, gets up on the throttle, it twists. You see, I mean, it
carries the left front.
It does. It carries the left front, and you can actually see the car put the power on the ground, and it looks like a late model.
And the best part about that for the fans is you can sit there and say, that's what they're doing in a late model. It just doesn't look like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You can actually see the mechanics of how
That's
the car
it, yeah,
works.
because those big wide bodies and how low the late models sit really hides a lot of that. On those Monte Carlos, it's all right there to see. The right front dips down, the rear comes up, and the car rolls over, and you just see it. Yeah. It's crazy.
I love that sound.
It's crazy to watch.
I miss hearing that. I'm glad I got to hear a little bit of it this weekend.
It was fun to watch that car work.
Yep. Sportsman, A-Main, Saturday night.
Let's talk about that.
That's yeah. 15th out of a disqualification was Mr. Clyde Rudin, the Zero Machine Hackney ride.
Mm-hmm.
14th, 27 of Kent Emery, a rookie driver out of Corvallis, the brother of Ryan, Ryan.
Big improvement from last week, the first time in the car, to this week.
Very nice.
Finished a couple laps down. 13th, went to 17 machine of Chris Frisbee. 2 of Glenn Hackney. Mark Von Silden, the 21.5 car. Breaking into the top 10, the 00 machine of Ken Frisbee. Jody Tanner running double duty in the 36. Picked up 9th. The 333 machine of Eric Lindquist was 8th. Jeff Titus in that B mod was 5th. The 75X machine, Steve Pfeiffer, finished in 6th.
Good run for the 75X.
Really good run for the 75X. Another good run for the 31 machine of Lauren Cruzy, finishing 5th.
Now that car, they've been working on it and getting it dialed, and it's finally coming around. It's taken most of the season. That's a way different race car than Lauren's ever been in.
Way different race car than Lauren's been in, and how often do you see those types of 3-bar suspensions? I mean, he's working with
the old school stuff right there.
He's working with Steve Moore and everybody out there with Extreme Motorsports. You know,
they put together a great weekend and finished in the top 5 both nights. It was a great weekend for Cruzy, and he was happy. I don't think he had a whole much to complain about as far as the car and the performance, and his driving this weekend was on point.
I'll tell you, I ran into him after the race this Saturday night, and he was just all smiles.
Yeah.
He was happy to be back out there racing. The 4th position was held down by the 1 of Jeff Rash, 55 machine of Casey Rhodes, the 25 of James Slover, and the 97 of Flying Ryan Emery took home the big W that night.
His 6th consecutive win going in after that race was 6 straight feature wins.
And that's taken me back to last year with this class with Tom Yak winning everything but 3.
Yeah,
and
10 wins in a feature,
and
10 feature wins.
And then even going back farther, it was, okay, flip a coin. Who's it going to be? Is it the 2 or the 37 finishing first for the late models?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
some history right there.
Yeah, let's go into Super Sports.
Super Sport A-Main event. 15 cars showed up. We only started 14. The T2D machine of Kyle McDonald did not start the race.
Had some issues in the heat races. Not sure what it was. They just couldn't get that car to, I don't know if it was a transmission issue. It didn't seem like it wanted to go forward.
Happens.
AMCO can help him.
Yep. Double A, beep, beep.
MCO.
There we go. 14th, the 75X of Darrell Blanchard. Jordan Wright in his own car, the 33 machine. The 50 of Justin Riker, which actually
was a borrowed car.
Was a borrowed car this week from, I believe, Frank Brewer.
No. Well, maybe, but it's a former Curtis Towns car.
I believe that's Frank's car. if I remember right.
Well, I didn't know that, but I know it's got Curtis Towns all written all over it as far as paint scheme and.
Well, you